What you're looking at right now is one of the very few pieces of server-grade hardware that I actually have in my possession. This is a very big, very heavy, very powerful, very real, very serious piece of server gear, although it's rather old news now. You can tell that's definitely an older Xeon logo right there on the front. It is locked up, tighter than Fort Knox, but I have the keys, so that's not that big of a deal. I'm not really sure all the specs because I didn't really look into it. Trying to move it around here. This thing is like massive. I swear it's easily more than half a foot wide. Well, it's probably not locked up tighter than Fort Knox. We'll go ahead and have a look at the back here. You get all your information. There's the power supply. There's the motherboard. Looks like it's only got, well, no, it's got a gigabit and a 10100. I'm going to need to come up with some slot blanks for it, but that's not a big deal. I have plenty of those. There's a serial port down here, which I believe, no, it's just serial B. I was going to say that was used for out-of-band management, but it's not. So if we lift these things up, I know that this is still a little difficult to get off. We can go ahead and have a look inside at the madness within. Okay, there's not really any madness, but you can see the dual CPUs there. It's got 4 RAM slots, it looks like, two of which are populated. I may see about populating more. I don't know what type of RAM that actually is. I can't read it. It looks like it's got a gig. I'd like to give it 2 gigs. But if I'm stuck with a gig, I'm stuck with a gig. It's not that big of a deal. I might see if that high-density junk will work in this. Assuming it's not PC-133, which I don't think it is. I think it's DDR. Probably needs registered memory or something like that. But anyway. I think I've got some of that stuff sitting around. I could probably upgrade this thing. You can see it's got, looks like an AGP Pro slot there. 2 regular 32-bit PCI slots and 3 64-bit slots. It came with SCSI controllers in 2 of the 3 64-bit PCI slots, or PCI X, such as the case may be, but of course I don't really have much use for SCSI, so I just went ahead and pulled those all out. Don't really need them. It's got 2 serial ATA connectors down there with what looks like an SIL3112 Silicon Image SATA controller. Not bad. Other than that, I really don't know a whole lot about it. So I'm going to have to just go ahead and power it up here and figure it out. And you'll hear soon why I'm going to be doing some modifications to this system. This power supply is an NMB. Uses, let's see. There's the model. I have to look up what the efficiency specs on that are. But it's a 460 watt power supply, so that's not actually too bad. I'm sure this thing's going to power on as soon as I plug it in. Maybe not. It didn't even make the UPS do anything weird, so let's power it up. Server systems like this will take a while to host, like that. Let's see if it recognizes my USB keyboard. Yes, it does. Intel server board, designed for the Intel Xeon processor. Definitely kind of noisy. This fan at the back is really high power and probably really doesn't need to be as high power as it is. So here's the SATA controller ringing in. And I'm going to have to replace the CMOS battery. Alright, yes, as you can see. Did not come to me with hard drives. Interestingly enough, the optical drive is not being detected. That's kind of strange. I'm not sure why that is. That's odd. Does it have power? Yes. The next question is, does it actually work? It's all set to auto, so I don't know why it's not seeing that. Anyway. That's very weird. Get the console redirection. ECC event line. See here, yeah, those two fans are, those are the two CPU fans. There's not really a whole lot I can do about those, which really sucks, because those are the loudest ones in the whole system, but, it is what it is, really. That dates this thing pretty well. Anybody remember Novell NetWare? I'm going to set that to other, because it's going to be running Linux. Actually, no, we don't need that. I/O devices, onboard devices. Turn on USB 2.0. So I'm going to go through this, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this fan first. Wow, this thing's even older than I thought. 2004? Interesting. Doesn't tell me whether it's ECC memory or not. So it looks like there's a note about dual channel. I may see if I can upgrade that. 2 CPUs there. And they're hyper-threaded, so we're talking about 4 cores, or 4 threads there. Dual core, 4 threads. So there's the information, complete with a lovely serial number, if you'd like to know. And then we'll exit saving changes. I'll go get a new battery for this thing. And then I'm going to go change this fan. Okay, so, as you can see, I've replaced the fan. I replaced the power supply with one that should be a little bit more efficient. Probably not much, but it's there. What I'll probably end up doing is changing that out for an 80 plus power supply. I'm pretty sure that optical drive doesn't work, and I'm not going to be using an optical drive, so I'm just going to leave it unplugged. There's no sense in having it there wasting power or whatever, so it's just going to be used as a filler plate. I also went ahead and I took out the drive cage to install all the drives. It's got a fan in it. There's 4 1TB Western Digital RE4 drives, which will be hooked up in RAID 10 to give me 2 terabytes of space. What I may do in the future is get another 2 terabyte drive, put it here, and use that as a backup of this RAID array, even though I don't really need it, since this is going to be used for backups. Eventually I might just do it, just for the little, the peace of mind. So I don't have to go through and make backups of all that stuff all over again. I have to unplug the fan in order to take the cage out. So you can see how it works. You can also see I've got the keys, which I intend to use, even though it's, well, nobody's going to be playing around with it but me. I always like to do it that way. You know, you do it right with every system. Do best practices and all that. Even your own systems. So, that's how that's going to work. I'm also going to probably upgrade the RAM here in a second. We'll see how that goes. Alright, look at that. 2 gigs of RAM. That was easy. It does in fact take registered memory. It's PC2100R. So, it's a good thing I have some of that laying around. Okay, we're all cabled up. Ready to go. Hopefully no conflicts. Because I know that happened with the P5K SE. Let's see what's on this hard drive. Ooh, this is interesting. I wonder what system this was out of. Actually we won't be able to find out because it's 64-bit and these are 32-bit CPUs. Okay, whatever. So I was about to make a huge segment of video and complain that nothing I ever do can go right because none of my drives were seen by the RAID card. Well, right before I went to hit start, I realized, hey, you nincompoop, you should probably plug the drives into the controller before complaining that they're not working. Yeah. Oops. Oh well. So we are going to initialize all of these devices, and then we are going to create, oops, wow, RAID 10. Striping over mirroring. Input name, let's call it backups. Two terabytes, no caching policy, create. Status normal, everything there should be good to go. Alright. And just like that, in typical fashion, we come to the point where I can't have nice things. This thing's a paperweight. I don't know why. There's really no excuse for it. Watch, it'll work fine now that I've got it on camera. But I am pushing the power button right now, and it is doing absolutely nothing. All the cables are plugged in. This is exactly the same configuration as it was in the last clip. And I've even unplugged all this stuff in case, oh, maybe it's causing a short. Nope, it's got nothing to do with that. And I've tried 2 different power supplies out of my stash, including the original power supply and this one. All 3 of them don't work, and I refuse to believe that all 3 power supplies can possibly have a problem. So there's something up with this motherboard, probably why it was tossed in the first place. I don't know what the deal is, but no amount of wiggling these connectors, wiggling the board, doing anything manages to get it to come back. So I'm gonna have to see if I can find another board that'll fit in this case. Good luck with that without spending a whole lot of money. I might have to ask my boss if we've got anything that'll fit in this. Because this is a non-standard, I guess I can't call it really non-standard, because it is a standard, I believe, but I'll have to figure out what size of board that really is. My guess is that it's extended ATX. But I'm not using this board because this doesn't work. I've got a Dell Precision 650 sitting at work. I may just use that and throw this thing into the junk heap where it belongs. But that's going to do it for this video. So, sorry you had to watch that and waste your time.